Welcome back to my channel. This is Angelo Christmas and me documenting my journey to $20,000 per month as a high ticket closer. So in today's video, I'm going to do a quick recap in terms of where I'm at so far on my journey, and then also have a pretty cool role play I want to share on this channel as well. So in the previous video, I mentioned that I'm going to be looking for a new offer. I've actually landed a new offer, a really good one that I'm pretty excited for, and I have a couple others that are also in the pipeline that I may also decide which one I want to move forward with. But for now, the only one that's confirmed is a very good one. And if I decide to move forward with them, I'm already onboarded, so I can start taking calls there if I want to. They're actually having a huge webinar this month, and the webinar starts on the 15th, expecting a huge amount of leads. And the top closer, in fact, gets a $10,000 bonus just for collecting the most cash. So that'll be pretty exciting. However, it's not a full-time offer, meaning that once the webinar is done, I wouldn't be closing for that business. It's just a opportunity to close during the webinar, which there are pros and cons to that because the pro is that they're all going to be really hot leads. And if I do decide that I can make some good money closing there during the time period that the webinar runs through. And the other offer I'm working on hopefully landing is actually had the interview today. And funny story about that interview actually. One of the interview questions they were asking me like who I look up to in terms of personal development and mindset and this sort of stuff. And because I'm such a G, I mentioned Andrew Tate as one of the people I look up to, which is I felt it was pretty brave in my opinion because a lot of people have mixed opinions about Andrew Tate. A lot of people hate him, but I don't give a fuck because I know he improved my life and I know that he does good for the world and he's helped a lot of other men improve. So I said that with no hesitation, and the interview actually respected me for that because he knows for the same reason he was surprised I mentioned Andrew Tate, but he respected me for it. But the interview overall went really well, and I've actually scheduled moved on to the next phase, which is an interview with the sales manager tomorrow. And if that goes good, I can start onboarding like pretty much as soon as possible. And that role would be like a full-time position. So and the top closers they are making like over 20K a month. So pretty excited for that role. But even if I don't get it, that way I can just focus full time on the webinar and make as much as I can there before looking for like a full time role over there. So that's where we're at the moment in terms of my journey. And really excited for this month because I know that with the webinar in place and also this new offer in place that I may start with as well, even though we're 10 days into the month, I know I can definitely make this my biggest month if those two offers end up playing out the way I expect them to in terms of when I start onboarding and how the rest of the month goes. So really excited for that. But aside from that, I think we should just get into the role play I wanted to share. I've been mainly like training since I'm not on offer right now. I'm not taking calls, so most of my day has been dedicated towards training and developing, going through sales training, role playing with people, and just improving my skills and getting more comfortable when it comes to role playing a BizUp, which is offered to help people make money. Because as you all know, I've been mainly selling fitness, so I'm getting more comfortable with the BizUp at the moment. So let's dive in and see how the role play goes. So for you, Samuel, what are you looking to achieve specifically working with us at XYZ company?
Um, well, I saw the ad and honestly, I really I saw that you guys help people make at least 10K and that's been a goal for me for a long time. So,
Hmm, cool. Why 10K specifically for you?
well, that's kind of like the golden number, right?
But I
10K.
mean, for you specifically, because everyone's different, like what's the significance of that number for you? Like what's your intention with wanting to make, 10K a month?
Um, honestly, it could allow it could allow me to do a lot of things that I can't do now. Like I have this job and I'm trying to learn things, but on how to progress and make that amount of money. But 10K, I'd like to make more, but I like to start with 10K.
Hmm. So you mentioned it could help you do these things, which means that you might want to make more, like you mentioned. So, like in a perfect world, how much would you love to make every single month to truly live the life you want to live? At this point, he's being very vague around his real goals, so I'm just going to clarify and get deep on in terms of what's his actual goal.
Well, I don't know. I think like I'd have true freedom at about, I don't know, 30K per
You
month.
said
But
around
I
30K.
want to get to 10. I want to get to 10 first. So
Yeah, obviously,
yeah.
you're not going to wake up one day at 30, right? It's going to take 10, but it's also good to know the big goal in mind so you can work towards that. So that's good. And you mentioned you also want to leave your 9 to 5, is that right? Is that the goal too?
Yeah. I have a job that I currently work at, and
Hmm.
I
What do you
don't
do
really
for work?
find it construction.
Okay. And one mistake I realized I made on this role play was that after figuring out what's his actual goal, like how much he wants to make, I forgot to ask what's he currently making at the moment, which I do end up asking it later on, but that should have been done after I got the goal. You were saying you don't really find it? What, sorry?
Well, fulfilling. Like, yes, I pay the bills and I, maintain. I basically live, but um, it's like I don't want to see myself doing this long term. So,
Mm. How long would you say you felt that way, where it hasn't been fulfilling to you and you sort of wanted more out of life?
well, since I joined it, to be honest, because um, I'm working with older people and I look at them, and I'm the only like young guy in there. So
Mm.
I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? But
When did you start working the job?
3 years ago,
3 years now. Okay.
give or
So
take. Yeah.
over these past 3 years, like what specifically? So at this point, we got the clear, tangible outcome of what he wants to achieve, how long he's been wanting to achieve that. Now we're going to dig into what he's actually tried to make this a reality and sort of figure out what's been his bottleneck and what's been holding him back. And as you'll see soon enough, he was making quite a bit of excuses, but I feel I did a really good job of showing him that those excuses aren't serving him and helping him change his perspective to believe that X is true instead of Y. So let's take a look. Have you tried to break that freedom, you start making money online, get into those 30K months so you can leave the job? Like, what exactly have you tried to get there?
Well, I did try an e-com store once. Um, Apart from that, I tried little bit of trading and um, I tried some like it was a shitty small business selling pictures on Instagram, but I stopped that. Yeah, just a couple. Nothing really that would make me get to the goal.
What makes you say it was a shitty small business though?
Um,
So at this point, he's downplaying the things he's tried. He's saying, yeah, he just tried trading, this Instagram, a shitty business on Instagram selling stuff. So now I'm gonna reframe him on why he's viewing things differently. So I'm getting clarity on why he's saying that's a shitty business. So I can reframe him in a few moments.
well, it was just um, selling like Etsy pictures for like $2 a piece. That won't get me to 30K, so I stopped it.
Do you feel like there's other people with that sell stuff on Instagram shops on Etsy that are making 30K a month though?
Yeah, probably that they're making more, but they have like 1 million followers, so
Do you feel like they started with 1 million followers though?
obviously not, but I'm competing with them now, right?
Well, were they competing with other people that already had 1 million followers when they started too?
Maybe, I don't know.
If you were to know, knowing that there's over 7 billion people in the world now.
Likely they were, yes. Yes.
Right, so the point I'm making. So that was really nice because like he gave me three rebuttals and My response completely shattered him. And then he ended up agreeing with me. So he kept making excuse after excuse, but I gave him a better perspective to view it, and then he eventually agreed. So I'm going to continue now. For you, Samuel, although now that you look back and you failed on that business model and you see it as shitty, if you actually use that and it helped you get to 30K a month and you were, no longer the 9 to 5, would you still consider it to be shitty?
Well, no, if it gets me to my goal, then yeah.
Exactly right. Because, whether it's e-com, whether it's trading, whether it's selling stuff on Instagram, like you mentioned, there's people that have already made money with those things, right? So for you personally, like what do you feel has truly held you back from actually, hitting the goals you want to hit in your life? Like what has held you back? So at this point, we've kind of addressed his excuses, a bit of his limiting beliefs. So I decided to just go in and ask him like what he feels has held him back to see if he gives us the bottleneck. So let's see what he says.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, there are people that make money with them, but they also like with ecom, for example, they say online that ecom it's too late for ecom, and ads are very expensive nowadays, and I tried it and that's true. Like I was in the hole within the first month.
So he's still making a lot of excuses, a lot of words that have words that indicate that he has a lot of limiting beliefs. I'm gonna now reframe him again.
And yeah.
Mhm. Just because you're in the hole in the first month, though, do you feel like that is true where no one can possibly make money from e-com if they start, though?
Well, no, but I don't I don't have the right knowledge to get over that. Maybe they do, so.
Possibly. I mean, people that normally feel like they're lacking in the knowledge normally seek out, additional support, guidance, and mentorship, which is what you're doing today. But I'm just curious for you, like, what's prevented you? Like, have you ever invested into mentorship or guidance in the past over these past 3 years so that you can gain the right skills and knowledge to get to those 30K months? Or
No, no, mostly like what I see, like I try to watch the guides and the courses, the free ones on YouTube and the school communities, and those are really helpful. So yeah.
so now we getting a bit more to like the meat of the conversation where we're trying to understand like is he someone that's invested in the past? Is he scared to invest? Why hasn't he invested? And as he said, he hasn't invested before. He just makes use of free videos on YouTube, free communities, and he says it's been helpful. But now I'm gonna completely rock his world and reframing on the fact that how can it be helpful if you're still not making 30K a month or not even progressing close to that? Really helpful. Okay. When you say really helpful, though, I mean it's good that you've been learning, but in with relation to getting to the goal, has it been helpful?
Well, no, I don't have but maybe yeah, maybe the paid courses are better.
Hmm. So knowing that obviously the paid courses would, more than likely have more information, more support, more guidance for you to get to those 30K months, like what has prevented you from taking that next step and investing into yourself?
I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of money because I've seen like mentorships on ecom.
Hmm.
One guy, I got on a call with another guy, like it was a year and a half ago.
Hmm.
I had some money saved up from my job, and then we got to the end of the call, and I had was $3,500, and he said that the mentorship is 4K.
Hmm.
I didn't have the money, but I could go into installments, but I would pay more. But it was all I had, so I don't know. I didn't want to do that.
And you perceiving that amount to be a lot of money, do you feel like that's a problem or that's a symptom of the problem?
That's which problem again?
The problem of you not yet hitting those 30K months and leaving your job.
Well, yeah, if I was in a position where I did make that amount of money, then obviously 3,500 wouldn't be too much money. So,
So now I'm shifting his whole perspective. He thought that was too much money to invest in. I'm giving him a new perspective and also understanding why he didn't actually invest. Because now, by me doing this now, It's gonna make one, the rest of the school a whole lot smoother, and two, I'm also technically pre-handling fear and value at the same time. So let's take a look.
It's
Exactly, because
a
I understand like right now you could see it as a lot of money, which starting out it is a big step to invest in yourself, especially if that's all you got, right? But is it more so a case that you just like if you were to invest that amount, let's say if we if we just backtrack a year ago when you're on that call and you actually found the bravery to invest that amount and it helped you get to 30K a month, would you consider that to be worth $3,500 then?
well, yeah, who wouldn't? Yeah.
Okay. So it's not necessarily that you don't feel like it's worth investing to yourself. What was behind you choosing not to make that investment then? Like, what is the big reason that you decided to not move forward?
I feel like I had worked for that money like 2.5 months, and I was really like, this is sweat money. That's what I thought at that moment. And the thought of maybe the ecom store not working out or the mentorship, and then
Hmm.
I guess I felt like I could have lost all the money. And
Boom. Now we know it's fear. Now we know that the real reason he hasn't taken that step yet is because he's fearful. He's afraid that if he invests the money, he's not gonna get the outcome. So now we need to handle it now and basically destroy the fear now so that it doesn't come up again later.
just invested into the wrong thing. And
Okay. So it's more so a case that, you do feel like it's worth you investing into yourself. It's just that you had some uncertainty around if you do invest, you might not get the outcome. Is that right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. I hear you, man. And that's completely normal, right? I mean, that's perfectly normal. Everybody, most of the successful people in the world have always felt those sorts of feelings, right? But the difference between the people that succeed and the people who don't is the people that are willing to do what's required regardless of how they feel. Would you agree?
Yes, I will answer. I remember the question. My door is knocking. It's my girlfriend. Just 1 second.
No problem, bro.
Well, yeah, I agree that yeah, the most successful people have done that, and I know I've heard about them because I read about them. I have
Because
a book right here, but
that's good.
yeah.
Cool. Nice, man. I ordered mine. Mine's on the way too. That's good. So the book he showed me was Alex Hormozi's $100 million money models book, the new one. Because here's the thing, right, Samuel? Like, if you hold on to that fear and you let that fear paralyze you from actually taking action on what you know is going to give you the best chance of succeeding, do you feel like you'd ever be able to get to the study Cayman? So how do you feel?
Well, if nothing changes, nothing changes, I guess. So
So do you feel like meaning that you won't
if
get to the study Caymans then, yeah?
yeah, if I don't change, because until I get to the point where I'm making some sort of money online, I'm always gonna be, working for my money. So I
Mm.
have to get through that barrier first to then.
Right. And I guess holding on to that fear, what do you feel like that's solely costed you these past 3 years?
I feel like I could have done way more by now. I feel like I've just wasted time.
So now we know that the bottleneck is fear. He's agreed that if he holds on to the fear, he'll never get the outcome. Now we're just understanding, what this fear has costed him and what it will continue to cost him so that he has leverage to actually push through the fear.
To be honest.
Why does that bother you?
Because we only have so many years to live, and if you can't be all you can be, and you know that in the back of your head, then it just eats at you.
Mm, damn. And by you holding on to this fear, Samuel, do you feel like that's benefiting you in any way?
No, it's not.
So what do you feel like it would continue to cost you in the future moving forward, like if nothing changes, like you mentioned, and you let the fear hold you back from moving forward and going after what you want?
Well, I feel like it would be a cycle where, I try to find the solution and then I get scared and don't act and then, well, don't change my situation. So it will just enforce that, which wouldn't be good, obviously.
Mm. And sorry, Simon, remind me again. I forgot to ask you this in the start, but obviously your goal is to hit 30K a month now. Like, how far are you off of that at the moment? Like, how much are you making? This is what I was supposed to ask earlier, but the thought crossed my mind during the role play now. So I'm like, fuck it, I might as well just ask it so that I know where he is now and where he wants to be. And as you'll see now, it was a huge difference right now.
I'm making about 2K.
About 2K. Okay, cool stuff. So significant increase. Okay. So in order for you to go from making 2K a month to get to those 30K months, like you mentioned, right? When the moment comes up again in the future where you have a decision to make, whether you're gonna push through the fear and go after what you want, or let the fear hold you back like it did a year ago, what are you gonna do moving forward this time around?
I need just to, even though I'm scared because I don't know the outcome, I don't know the future, but I need to take a bet on myself and really try something instead of thinking about trying.
Hmm. Exactly right. And would you say you are actually now ready to actually commit to doing that? Because you don't need to do it, right? But in order to be successful, that would be the requirement. So are you ready to actually make that shift?
Yeah, I'm ready. I mean, if I don't do anything, then I'll never get to my goal. So I
Mm,
feel like I'm ready to at least
exactly.
try something to get there. Yeah.
Exactly. So with that in mind, then Samuel, for you, since it has been like 3 years now, like what would you say makes it really important now that you are truly ready to, push through the fear so you can get to those 30K months? You don't have to
What
put
makes
the. So that's pretty much the North Star. That's the part I was role playing. The logic phase, the first part of the call. And I feel I did like a pretty solid job. They gave me a lot of excuses, but I stayed calm, I stayed composed, and I just out conviction him with my confidence and my frame. And I did a good job in the end, helping him see that it was the fear that's been holding him back from actually taking action and going after what he wants in his life. So overall, I thought it was pretty solid. Obviously, there's always improvements to make, especially with not asking the current income question earlier. Maybe getting a bit more clarity on his job and how that's been going. But overall, pretty solid. And yeah, really excited to start closing on a BizUp offer this month. I'm really excited because it's obviously what's aligned with it's more aligned with me, and I can't wait to start making a massive impact on whichever team I do join and make it my mission to become the top closer on that team. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for sticking through till the end. If you found that valuable or if you learned anything, if you have any insights you'd like to share, feel free to drop a comment below. And if you haven't already, make sure you like the video, subscribe as well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.